having a video, that's the first thing that we notice. We all know the power of video these days, whether it's influencer or just something on your Instagram. That's a powerful way to convey your message.
This is the Ecommerce Braintrust, a podcast about building momentum online for established consumer brands. Join our hosts and their expert guests for high-level conversations about e-commerce strategies, trends, and innovations. Access our Braintrust and boost your brand's e-commerce potential.
Hi, this is Kiri from the Ecommerce Braintrust. Thank you so much for tuning in. Welcome back if you're a regular listener, and welcome if this is your first time. On today's episode, we're going to be replaying a webinar that I did with one of our project managers at Bobsled Marketing. And this one's all about how to succeed on Amazon in the beauty category. So at Bobsled, we have a number of beauty industry clients that we've worked with and continue to work with today. And the beauty category is unique in a couple of different ways. One is that a lot of beauty brands initially didn't want to sell on Amazon. It was sort of more of a mass market vehicle for selling, but Amazon's made a lot of progress in the past year or so to attract luxury beauty brands to Amazon. And so these brands who sort of resisted Amazon for a long time are finally coming to Amazon because they've been able to capture some benefits like brand protection through these luxury beauty selling programs. So in those cases, these brands have less knowledge of how Amazon works and are looking for a little bit of extra help. So that was the context of putting this webinar together to talk about the unique elements of this category on Amazon and give a roadmap to brands in this category on how to proceed. So if you're a beauty brand, it's going to be very, very relevant to you. If you're not in the beauty category, it still might be interesting to hear how Amazon has sort of carved out these unique subcategories within beauty as a way to attract luxury brands and what that might mean for other categories in the future where Amazon's really wanting to bring in more luxury high-end brands which have resisted the platform for a while. So I hope you enjoy this webinar replay. And if you're interested in attending some of our webinars in the future, make sure that you sign up to our email list at bobsledmarketing.com. Let's go. So to lay a bit of the groundwork for today, just wanted to talk about some macro level trends. And Jen, I think you'll agree that we've seen Amazon really demonstrating its intent to continue moving into the beauty space. They've become very aggressive here and in approaching brands to sell on Amazon and beefing up their presence here. So right now we're looking at 2018 estimates of Amazon's sales share. Oh, sorry, these are actual from the Q2 period, as well as what is projected to be the market share of Amazon in the beauty space. So, Jen, can you walk us through a couple of the trends here and what we're seeing Amazon doing in the beauty category?
Yes, I think we're absolutely going to continue to see this strong growth in beauty. As you mentioned, Amazon is focused on it, and what they focus on usually happens. Beauty is currently the third fastest growing category after food and beverage and apparel and accessories. And if we look at the data here on the slide, overall Amazon sales in health and personal care and beauty is going to reach $16 billion in 2018, which is nearly a 40% increase over last year, which is pretty remarkable. And if you break that down into the second quarter sales for just health and personal care, they hit 1.9 billion. And out of that, the beauty category alone represented 950 million of it, which was a 26% increase. So what they're doing is definitely moving the needle. If you break that down even further and look at the luxury beauty niche, that experienced the biggest gains, which was $250 million in sales and almost a 60% increase. So we can't deny the rapid growth and what we're looking at into 2019 and beyond. They've definitely put their stake in the ground and they're delivering audience for these luxury brands.
So what kind of brands would be included in that luxury beauty carve out?
Luxury beauty is going to be what you see when you go into a high-end store. So your Neiman Marcus, Nordstrom's, things like that. So you're looking at, Elizabeth Arden and Philosophy, those types of brands that people are very, very familiar with and are usually sold in a high-end store. So, in the past, Amazon was pretty much the source for kind of the cult French pharmacy stuff and Korean brands that you couldn't really find here that were driven by influencers and definitely on trend. But they really want to compete with the Ultas and Sephoras of the world. And the way they're doing that is through these subgated categories.
Right.
So, and as I said before, it's historically Amazon doesn't dedicate any resources to trends they don't believe are going to be a huge success for them. So these three subcategories are clearly a path to future growth for that.
Yeah, that's a great point about Amazon selecting the categories that they want to go really hard into. And I remember pre-Whole Foods acquisition, Amazon made a big push into the grocery category. They released their own private label brands like Wickedly Prime and forget the other ones. They have a handful of private label brands that they launched before the Whole Foods acquisition. They also gave grocery brands a discount on selling fees in this category in order to promote more brands launching new products there and getting more selection on the platform. I'm not suggesting Amazon's going to go out and acquire a beauty retailer right now, but we have seen Amazon push aggressively into categories previously and be very successful in that effort.
Yes, for sure.
So just a reminder, if you have questions as we go along, just pop them in the chat box and we'll be checking those periodically too. Okay, so moving on to our next slide here, Jen mentioned these gated subcategories. So Jen, just, in addition to what we've got on the slide here, can you tell us a little bit about these gated subcategories and what it means to be gated in general as well?
Yeah. And, first it's important to note, the success that the brands are having in these categories, so everyone knows, these were really slow to take initially. So just to add on to that previous growth, the fact that this has happened so quickly in just a little over a year is definitely something we want to comment on. So, and yeah, they've made a lot of changes. So beauty overall was ungated. And then with these subcategories, it just makes it a little more elite. And, a gated category on Amazon, just in case people are aware or familiar with that, it allows brands and manufacturers to really control who can sell their products on Amazon. And because of that, it blocks anybody who's unauthorized from selling that. So in the past, there's been issues with high-end things on Amazon being counterfeit or not the real deal. So this definitely is giving buyers on Amazon a comfort level within these categories that they are getting the real product. So the first subcategory would be professional. And I know sometimes professional and luxury the lines get blurred, but professional are products that you're going to find at, salons and dermatology offices. I don't know if people are familiar with Dr. Lancer, who's a major plastic surgeon and dermatologist here in Beverly Hills. And it used to be you couldn't get his products unless you went to his office, which I personally have done and had to make sure that I had enough for my mortgage to pay for it. So he's actually created his own line for Amazon. So wow. And it looks like he's done it with Ryan Seacrest. So we both know both of those guys don't invest things that aren't going to be successful. So just a little tip there. But so like products like Obagi, Skin Medica, those are the things that you're going to find in professional beauty. And then luxury beauty, that's going to cover, again, those high-end identifiable brands like Burberry, L'Occitane, Dermalogica, those brands that you find at upscale department stores, as well as their own brick and mortar stores. And then indie beauty is made up of brands that are independently owned and not stocked by major retailers like the Ultas and Sephoras, but are really, really growing in the space.
Okay. And so it seems like a great move because of the brand protection elements to get into one of these gated subcategories. So you have less of a chance of getting knockoffs or unauthorized sellers. Tell us a little bit more about that, and then also what the process is to join.
Yeah. So, to get into a gated category, Amazon is looking for brands that they have determined as a good fit for these subcategories. And so it is a kind of an invitation situation at this point, but there are things that you can do to kind of increase that likelihood to get an invitation from Amazon. Bobsled actually published a white paper on that we could probably include to everyone to make sure that they've got that. And then, so the number one thing you want to do is you want to make sure that your product claims are accurate and honest. In this space, shoppers spend a lot of money on beauty products. And if they're not satisfied with the results, they won't hesitate to leave a bad review. So on the opposite end, if the product delivers on its claims, those reviews are going to increase your sales and grow your brand on Amazon. So that's one of the things they're looking for. You also have to...
Looking for reviews from customers.
Yes. Reviews, as we know on Amazon, is key.
So one of the questions from Georgiana in the comments is, can you launch directly into a subcategory? It seems like what you're saying is you need to have a little bit of tenure on Amazon first.
Right. So if you look at the brands that are on there, they all have a track record. But from what I've experienced, as we kind of contact people we know at Amazon and working with other brands, those invitations are going out more readily as they're identifying. So you can definitely petition Amazon to be in that, to get into that category.
And I've also heard from larger or more exclusive brands where Amazon really has their eye on that company and they really want to carry them, that Amazon will be reaching out to them and sort of getting down on a knee to bring them onto the platform. So I think it goes both ways. You can either be on Amazon being successful and find an invite or petition them, as you said, as well. Or you could be invited by Amazon, and it's generally a good move to take them up on that because you get brand protection privileges that regular brands just don't have access to.
Absolutely. And we have, a couple of our clients, Bobsled, have gotten invitations to Indie Beauty, and they've already been selling on Amazon. So obviously that's a huge key to getting into these subcategories.
Great. And so to increase the likelihood of an invitation or to increase the likelihood of getting a positive response if you reach out to them, what can brands be doing here?
So you want to, I think brand story is becoming more and more important. Amazon wants diversity. They want something that their customers, their buyers can connect to. Your packaging design is very important, regardless of the category. Obviously for luxury, you want it to have a luxurious feel, but we're finding anybody who's putting packaging together for any of these categories is paramount.
Okay.
And absolutely, you want to know your target market. You absolutely want to know what niche your products serve. Make sure you've researched where your products fall and really kind of understand the triggers for your buyers, what they're looking for with what you're offering. Especially in indie beauty, people are passionate about what they're creating. They're creating something specifically for a certain need, or skincare, or men's grooming is big. So, you want to know that audience for sure, strongly, and know how your presence on Amazon will come across. And then, of course, if you're already selling on Amazon, you want to leverage the advertising and everything that's available to you, like your storefront and your reviews, and making sure your customer service and everything's on point.
Okay. So in the absence of an invitation from Amazon, you want to be doing everything that you can on Amazon to drive traction, and then you add a better chance of getting an invitation from them.
Yes. I'd go actually even further too and make sure if you've got external websites and things like that, they're looking at that too.
Of course.
So,
okay, well, let's move on to strategies for success. And on this slide here, we're sort of comparing what are the critical elements between new to Amazon brands and established on Amazon brands. We're going to get into some of these in a bit more detail later on. But I noticed that a lot of the same bullet points are familiar between new and established brands on Amazon. Can you tell us a little bit about why that is?
Well, first of all, your strategies should vary based on the length of time that you've been on Amazon. For those that have been on there, a lot of these things are similar. But in terms of where we recommend our clients focus, for example, whether they're Amazon veterans, is again back to that brand story. So all of that, you can see that's number one in both lists. But overall, the approach is different, and we can kind of talk about those strategies specific to new to Amazon sellers. Once you've got your brand story established, how does it appeal to your customer base? This is how a seller differentiates themselves from the competition and where they stand apart in their message. Also, external marketing is so important these days, and Amazon's giving us more and more tools to measure outside traffic that's coming to their listings. So if your brand already exists outside of Amazon, you want to make sure that that external marketing is in place with social media, email. Even if you're part of brick and mortar, you've got your product in shops. So you don't want to just depend on your storefront when you launch on Amazon.
Yeah, and I think for the most part, certainly at Bobsled, we're talking with established brands who have a really strong retail channel or a strong direct-to-consumer channel through their website, and Amazon is the missing link, and they appreciate the benefits Amazon brings with repurchasing behavior, for example. And there's a great study of 6,000 consumers that came out recently from Salesforce and Publicis around what channels people prefer to try products for the first time versus repurchase. And they found that nearly 50% of consumers prefer to buy a product for the first time in a retail store, so a department store or some other kind of retailer. And then to repurchase that product, the purchase behavior switches where they're much more likely to repurchase that same product on a marketplace like Amazon as opposed to going back to that retailer and purchasing it again. So I think smart brands recognize that maybe Amazon isn't our discovery platform. People go to Amazon and they're searching for products with keywords. They're not going there to necessarily discover a new brand. And the discovery is really happening at the retailer through influencers, through subscription boxes like Ipsy and Birchbox and the like, through other channels. And then the actual purchasing activity is happening on Amazon. So the smart brands are looking at that landscape and understanding, okay, we do need to invest in other channels for discovery. But when it comes to the actual purchasing behavior, we need to be on Amazon. We need to make that experience as easy for people as possible.
Absolutely. I mean, it makes sense, right? We engage all of our senses when we're in a retail store and we're touching, feeling, smelling. So especially for this category.
Yeah.
It's important. And that's why you want your listings to be touching as many senses as possible through the screen. So that's, for people that are new to Amazon, that fact is really important because you want to consider that, I think also the fact that Amazon has such a pretty easy return policy, they definitely support their buyers. I'm finding more and more people are trying things on Amazon, knowing that can happen. So it's a really good piece of information to understand when you're putting your listing together. You have to appeal to everything, and that's why reviews are so important, right? So you may not have a salesperson across the counter sharing something with you, or somebody else in the store saying how much they like it. You've got all these reviews of people that have tried a product, and it might make them more easy at trying something new.
Yeah, that's a great point, and something I bring up quite frequently for brands that are active in retail channels and even direct to consumer is that just because you're not actively selling your brand on Amazon doesn't mean that someone else isn't. And
right.
It's become a pretty thriving cottage industry of either distributors themselves or resellers who are latching onto your distribution network somehow and obtaining products from distributors, or even just on an individual level, people picking up products in the clearance aisle at Walmart or Target or wherever your products are and selling them on Amazon. We touched on brand protection really briefly before, but just to give a little bit more context for those that are not familiar with it, when someone else is selling your product on Amazon, that means you don't have control over how it's presented and, presenting it in the best possible way for sales and brand integrity and talking about features and benefits and ingredients correctly. So it's, a lost opportunity there. But then also there's a lot of risk involved that the customer might be getting a out-of-date product, or shipped the wrong product. And shoppers don't recognize the difference between a third-party seller and the actual brand a lot of the time. Most people don't understand really how Amazon works. To them, it's just, I bought this product from this brand and it's out of date and I'm going to leave a bad review. And so unless you're actually in control of your brand on Amazon, that means you could potentially have your brand integrity being eroded through not even be aware of it.
Right. Yeah, you can't. There's no controlling of your message and your product.
Yeah. And that's where these gated categories really help, to the point around established on Amazon. Gated categories help with that brand protection element, but you have to be active on the channel first to begin with at a minimum.
Right.
Okay, great.
Chicken and the egg.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add here that's particularly relevant to either established brands on Amazon or new to Amazon, in addition to what we're going to cover off in the next couple of slides, Jen?
No, I think that's it. I mean, I think it's what you just touched on is so important. Whether you look at Amazon as a potential for more revenue, which it absolutely is, it is absolutely a way to protect your brand.
Yeah. And just to call out one more thing, I think we touch on it a little later as well, but for the established on Amazon brands, inventory sustainability becomes even more important. And it should become easier as well because you have purchase patterns to look back on. You start building up a little bit of experience in the channel and you know what shopping patterns to expect when. And there's, inventory is one of those foundational things. If you don't have that sorted out, it means your ads aren't running. It means your products aren't showing up in search. It's not even there for purchase, essentially. So this is one thing that, particularly coming up to Q4, is going to be a big focus for Bobsled, working with our brands in every category, really. But that's one thing that is, not the sexiest topic to talk about, but it's probably the most important when we're talking about sales.
Right. Especially for the indie category, people that are manufacturing their own. You have to stay on top of that. Mm-hmm. Because you want to make sure you have that in your back pocket. You can run into issues with not getting ingredients and things like that. So I always, with especially with indie, inventory it's important across the board, but indie is super important for the smaller manufacturer.
Right, because it can be a little more challenging.
Right.
Okay, well, one thing that you've really focused on in this category, Jen, is telling the brand story. And I want to just dwell on this a little bit longer because it's important, as you mentioned, both for new and experienced brands to share their brand story. And this here is an example of a brand that places a very strong focus on their brand story. This is Instant Natural, and they're not a client, but they are an Amazon first brand. So this is a brand that launched on Amazon before any other channel. And I think studying these types of brands can be very helpful because this is a company that started on Amazon native. So they really know what they're doing on the platform and have started selling on other channels as well. So I think we can learn a lot from them. So Jen, in what ways are we seeing Instant Natural highlight their brand story? And what are we looking at first on this slide here?
Yeah, for me as a marketing and branding person, I always do a quick scan. And, when you look at their page, it screams natural.
This is a storefront as opposed to a product page.
Yes. So it's, instantly it looks professional. It looks clean. Their brand is Instant Natural. There's a lot of white space. It's very clean. So again, you want to attack all of those 5 senses for somebody who's looking at this on screen. And you see in their titles, first things that jump out are vitamin C, age defying, toners, things that people are looking at, buzzwords. And then just, having a video, that's the first thing that we notice. We all know the power of video these days, whether it's influencer or just something on your Instagram. They've got testimony of a leading esthetician right on their storefront. So that's a powerful way to convey your message from an expert in the field. And the placement is perfect right at the top. It's going to be above the fold and see where people are going to click on that before they're going to read. People are always going to click and watch before they're going to scroll and read. These videos add a lot of value because you learn so much more about the product than what you can put on the page. And it feels more like a conversation instead of an advertisement for their product. So you're connecting with your audience.
Yep.
And by utilizing some of the boxes, that's not just a product. You know, they have a picture of an orange. I mean, it's fresh, it's clean, it looks delicious.
Vitamin C.
So it's vitamin
Yep.
C. So you just from an image, you know instantly what they're using and what they're putting into their products and kind of what their angle is. And they do a great job of conveying, you know, kind of about the fact that their brand is all about building safe and effective formulas. And they've really identified their niche, which is age-defying, skin clearing, and how that's going to benefit their customers. So buyers are faced with hundreds of choices on Amazon, as we know. So any way that you can find that connection with the audience you know you want to connect with makes that buying decision so much easier for their buyer.
Definitely. Well, let's move on to, so that was a storefront that we were looking at for Instant Natural where we're able to see their entire product catalog, and that's a template that you need to set up in Amazon on Vendor Central or Seller Central. Let's look at one of their actual product pages. So this is a hyaluronic acid serum, and particularly here, I'm noticing that images that they've selected are different to what we see a lot of on Amazon. So talk us through what their strategy is here, Jen, with the images that they've selected.
Well, I mean, first of all, what I love is the fact that you actually see people using the product. So, you know, and the people that are using it have great skin. It's very white space, a lot of white space, again, conveying that clean kind of image. But they've also done a great job. You know, a lot of people just put up product shots. So when you see somebody using a product, they also have a picture of the actual product. Even though it's white on white, you get a sense, the viscosity of it, the color, again, appealing to those senses. And then with images, you know, they've got one image that's dedicated to their brand story. Yet again, it's made without all those chemicals that people are trying to avoid, and it's their standard. So there's so much communicated with just images in this that it makes it, again, super easy to make a buying decision. And even their title with organic, pure, and all the things that it treats: dry skin, wrinkles, fine lines, eye bags. I mean, I would buy this product just from looking at the listing. And, you know, I think images not only show people enjoying the product, but the fact that it looks healthy, their skin looks healthy, and it's all tied in together with the images and kind of gives you a feel for what this product delivers. It looks professional, it looks luxurious.
Yeah, that's a really great point. And the first image that we're looking on this slide here, the main image, this is pretty typical of how we see most products displayed on Amazon. And that's because there are requirements from Amazon that you need to have the product set on a white background outside of its packaging. It's pretty direct requirements there. So they have that image, but then, like Jen said, they have the product on, you know, out of the bottle is that second one that we're showing there. And that it's trying to replicate the in-store experience when you're testing a product, taking it out of the bottle, seeing what it looks like on your skin. And then they're also using some of their image slots to talk about the features and benefits of the product. So made without parabens, mineral oil, formaldehyde, things like that. Let's move on to a couple of other things that this company is doing really well on this product. And this is around beyond optimizing the product display page for conversions with content and images. There's still lots of promotional tools that Amazon offers to both sellers and vendors. So these can be a little bit overwhelming when you're looking at all the options. There's lightning deals, discounts, deal of the day, coupons. But I want to talk about just two promotional tools that can be particularly effective for beauty brands. One that this product is using is coupons. And so these are percentage off or dollar value off coupons that are great for visibility of promotions because, as you can see on this page, Amazon displays that coupon in a bright green neon box. So you can't miss it. And so it's a lot more visible than other promotional options. And it also shows up in sponsored product ad placements and in organic search results as well. So if someone is searching for hyaluronic acid serum and they have the search results show up. Instant Naturals option is going to show up with that coupon displaying. So people are much more likely to click through to that product because they can see, oh, I can get 5% off this product. So Jen, do you have anything to add in your experience working with clients with the effectiveness of coupons?
Yes, I love, love, love coupons. So, I mean, who doesn't? But they seem to convert really, really well on Amazon, especially in this category. It's been one of the most successful methods of promotions for my clients. And it's not just the typical money off offer, but they've gotten really savvy and we're utilizing them with special offers to repeat customers. So you've already got somebody who likes your product. So we're doing, buy one, gift one, or, buy one and get money off their next one. Really encouraging that reorder, and then also using somebody who is also loyal to your brand as a repeat customer to try your new products. So we use those products that they buy over and over again and say, hey, we've got something new and we're going to give you a discount to try this new product. And hey, by the way, we'd love to know how you like it.
Yep.
So also encouraging that review. So it's all of this backed by your, a sound promotional strategy and a targeted approach. It's like you can absolutely blanket it. You can do money off coupons, but you can also do kind of these targeted, more specific kind of campaigns. And I've seen people spend, $150 to $200, on a coupon promotion, and they're generating 3 to 5 plus times that amount in sales. So it's definitely, I love it for launching, and I love it around holidays and just special promotions, seasonality.
Yeah. I love that the buy one, get one option that you mentioned as well, because that also increases your chance of that product being populated with this product is also bought with. So if you can get a cream, a moisturizing cream and a cleanser shown together on a page, then that's going to increase the likelihood of those products being seen by more customers together, added to the same cart. That helps with your average order value, helps with profitability because you're only paying one order handling fee from Amazon. So many benefits from running that type of promotion. Thanks for mentioning that. The other thing I wanted to highlight on this page is that this product is enrolled in Amazon's Subscribe and Save program. And so subscriptions make so much sense for Amazon. That's recurring revenue. It's also recurring revenue for the brand. So if you get your products ordered as a subscription where a customer has agreed to get a reorder of that every month or quarter or on whatever basis, then that's recurring revenue for you as a brand as well. And this, in the beauty category where most products are replenishable and people are going to need to reorder it in a month or 3 or a week or whatever it is, this is just a no-brainer. I mean, the price you pay here as a vendor or a seller is you fund that discount that the customer gets of between 5 and 15% for the subscription. But you think about, that customer is going to definitely get your product again next month. They don't have to think about going back to your page, adding it to cart, checking out again. The chances of you actually retaining that customer if they weren't on a subscription are lower than if they were. So to me, the math usually checks out because of the almost guaranteed revenue that you're going to get from that. And even better news in the beauty category, this promotion's been going on for almost a year now, but up until December 7th this year, Amazon's offering a discount off their FBA or fulfilled by Amazon fees to sellers in the beauty category for brands that have products enrolled where customers are subscribing to those products. So in the notes that we send around after the webinar, we'll include a little bit more detail there, but this actually manages to offset some of that discount for the subscription program.
It's so great. So smart.
Yeah. I mean, it's smart for Amazon. It's smart for brands. Customers love it as well because it means I don't have to think about when, reorder my cleanser or whatever it is, my lipstick. Moving on to only got 15 minutes or so left. We will continue answering questions as we go along. So please add those in. I want to talk about PPC for a second. And it seems like any brand I talk to in any category says how competitive it is on Amazon, that they're fighting for market share, they're fighting for attention, keeps getting more competitive. I agree with that assessment across the board, but you know what? Beauty is actually more competitive than some other categories. And what we're looking at here in this chart, and this is data from Amazon that we receive as a partner with their AMS division. So we're looking at the past third, and this is for June, the period of June, 30-day return on ad spend for beauty versus home and outdoor. And what these figures mean is that for every dollar spent on advertising in the beauty category, you'll get $2.80 back in sales, a return of 1 to 2.8. In other categories like home and outdoor, we're talking about a return of 5 or 6 times whatever you spend on advertising. So the return on ad spend in beauty is less than home and outdoor. And also what you're paying for those clicks is higher than other categories. So in beauty, and even more so in luxury beauty, you're paying on average $1.14 per click or $1.37 per click, compared with home and outdoor where you're spending 60 or 70 cents per click. So yes, beauty from an advertising standpoint is more competitive. So with that in mind, beauty brands in particular need to be very strategic and very analytical about their PPC campaigns. So being smarter with AMS or your sponsored product and headline search ad campaigns on Seller Central come down to, one, knowing your margins. So you need to, in order to properly optimize a PPC campaign, you really need to know what you're working with here. And if you're working with a performance marketing agency on Amazon, they need to know what it is. Or if you're working with an Amazon agency like Bobsled, we need to know your sensitivity around margins here so that we can optimize campaigns properly. The second best practice here, optimizing product pages for conversions. And these are all the things that Jen and I were just talking about the last 15 minutes or so. What can you be doing with your images? How are you telling your brand story? How are you driving conversions with promotions like coupons and subscribe and save? So that means you're paying more per click with advertising, but you're capturing more sales because the offer is more compelling. And finally, the last two best practices, trying to wrap this up, working against the clock here, learn from history and analyze account trends. So every year, there's a lot of changes on Amazon, particularly with PPC, but you still want to be tracking your entire year to see seasonal trends, correlate bad performance to specific ads or campaigns or products that you were testing over that time. Just being very analytical about what's going on in your account and in your campaign so that you can improve next year. And then optimizing individual campaigns, which we will talk about a little bit more on this slide, actually. So Q4 tips, Jen, quick rapid fire here. As Q4 approaches, what advice do you have for brands in the beauty category? What are the must-dos that you're talking with your clients about?
Definitely launching thematic campaigns like I was talking about before. It's like PPC, and you want to kind of marry that with any kind of coupon promotions and things that you're doing.
Right.
Make sure your campaigns that you're doing on Amazon are mimicked on any external platform. So if you've got a Shopify site or your own website, you want to make it clear across the board, as well as with your social, your newsletters, everything. You want to keep that consistent across all platforms. And, like we were saying before, you don't want to get caught with insufficient inventory.
Mm-hmm.
The holidays are quick and fast, and you just really want to make sure you're on top of that. And it's crucial. So, and then also, one of the things that I love about the holidays is kind of the strategy to it. So you want to use like seasonal keywords, right? We have that 250 byte limit now on your keywords, but you can definitely make references to gift giving, holiday season, things like that. So if you've got, ABC pages and your holiday page. So if I was Insta Naturals, I would be adding some gift ideas or gift terminology on that page, and maybe show photos of them wrapped as a gift, maybe add a little bit of a holiday theme to it, some holly, so a sprig of something, just kind of make that connection again. And of course, your PPC and your advertising adjustments, you want to build out that marketing strategy and build that early and get it implemented with your inventory levels in mind. And the one thing that I also like people to remind themselves of is don't lose your Q4 mentality once the holidays are over. So many people get gift cards
Yep.
during the holidays. So your Q4 could actually extend into Q1. So you want to make sure that people see your product and spend those dollars that you might not have gotten as gifts, but on the back end with a gift card.
That's a terrific point. And we do see at Bobsled, coming into our 4th year of doing this, we see sales in January really strong for that reason that you mentioned. They're spending their Amazon gift cards for all those uninventive people that give gift cards over the holidays. God bless them. It means that we have really strong sales in January as people spend those gift cards and maybe return products for what they really want. Oh, one more thing, just to go back to this slide. Bundling and gift sets. Oh my God, what a huge opportunity for beauty. A lot of these products are so naturally suited towards bundling that it's a no-brainer, and it also means great holiday gifts. So what this means for brands, whether you're a seller or vendor, it means that you do have to repackage your products in the bundle. They need to be packaged together. Amazon doesn't do kitting. So you need to create that as a new product in your catalog. New UPC, new ASIN, packaged together, shipped to Amazon, and then it can be purchased as a set. But to Jen's point, this isn't just, you don't just have to put together bundles and gift sets for the holidays. We've got Valentine's Day coming up, Mother's Day, birthdays, things like that. People are wanting to buy gift sets and bundles the whole year round. So this is just a good opportunity to drive some sales during the holiday period with those bundles.
And, Carrie, I wanted to add too, one of the things I love, because when I'm out shopping for others, I usually end up spending on myself. So I love bundles that are the same product. So if there's a product that I love,
a multi-pack.
So a multi-pack. So if there's a product that I love and I get a discount on the second one, or it's a gift pack, I might give that other one and then I get one. So you have to consider the selfish gift giver, which I can be at sometimes.
Okay, you heard it here first. If Jen's buying for you, there's a ulterior motive. All right, just while we've got a few minutes left here, I want to talk a little bit about this iceberg principle, which is something that we talk a lot about at Bobsled, and that's the idea that there is the visible elements of selling on Amazon. Those are things like ads and the promotions and the pictures. And then below the surface of managing an Amazon channel, whether you're a vendor or a seller, there's a whole lot of operational workflows and tasks that need to happen as part of that. So we've talked about things like inventory planning and making sure you're not going to be overstocked or sell out. So that requires, when you're a seller using FBA, a lot of careful forecasting. And that's part of this, operations piece. We want to make sure that we're being charged the correct fees. We want to be handling cases from Amazon. And on the brand protection side, like we addressed briefly in the beginning, there's the threat of unauthorized sellers, counterfeiters. These are issues that beauty brands in particular are really sensitive to. So in summary, this iceberg principle gives you a little sort of a model to think about if you're looking at your Amazon channel and this is something that you're responsible for at your company. These are all the things that you need to be thinking about that need to work together. And as it relates to what we do at Bobsled, these are the services that we offer in relation to that iceberg, working all the way from operations to with the fee audits, returns, beauty ungating requests, case log monitoring, inventory forecasts, with brand protection. That's that whole piece I mentioned earlier. And then, of course, organic marketing that we talked about in a lot of detail in this presentation, as well as PPC. If you want to learn more about what we do at Bobsled Marketing, you can email me directly. And thank you for attending.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Carrie.
Thanks, Jen.